In the 1980s, urban legend crimes were especially heinous. An elite team of YouTubers are vital in unraveling mysteries of a bygone era. These are their stories.
Today we're breaking down some of the most bodacious urban legends from the raddest decade ever, so grab your Walkman and let's jump into a time machine. Now these may have variations on how you heard them, so the stories might differ just a little bit, but let's go. First of all, we have the Kidney Heist. Picture this: you wake up in a bathtub full of ice, like you're staring in your own twisted episode of Miami Vice, only to find a note saying your kidneys have been harvested for the black market. It's like the worst morning after a John Hughes movie marathon.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Now this urban legend is a chilling story that has circulated for decades, but particularly in the 1980s and 1990s. The tale typically involves an unsuspecting victim who wakes up in a bathtub filled with ice, often in a hotel room or an unfamiliar location. Alongside them is a note informing them that one of their kidneys has been removed for the black market. The legend plays on deep-seated fears of vulnerability and violation. It taps into anxieties about the illicit organ trade and perceived risks of traveling or being in an unfamiliar environment. The story's shock value comes from the idea of waking up to find oneself the victim of such a gruesome crime, with one's body literally harvested for profit. Now, while there has been occasional reports of organ trafficking in real life, the Kidney Heist legend is almost certainly just that, a legend. It functions as a cautionary tale warning people about the dangers of trusting strangers or venturing into unknown situations.
Please! Come on. No.
Back in the 80s, the fear of poison Halloween candy was everywhere. And it's the stuff of suburban nightmares, razor blades, needles, poison lurking in your trick-or-treat loot like Freddy Krueger at a slumber party. Now these tales of Halloween candy being tampered with caused widespread fear among parents and trick-or-treaters. And I remember some hospitals in the 1980s would do a voluntary thing where they would x-ray your candy before your children ate it. And this legend plays on the parental fears about the safety of their children during Halloween festivities. It's a reminder of the potential dangers lurking in the seemingly innocent act of collecting and consuming candy from strangers. I mean, nothing ever bad happened from consuming candy from strangers, right? And while there have been isolated incidents of tampering with Halloween candy over the years, they are exceedingly rare.
So, have strangers ever handed out tainted candy to unsuspecting kids? Short answer is yes. On Halloween 1959, a California dentist named Dr. William V. Shine passed out approximately 450 candy-covered laxatives to children in his neighborhood. 30 of those kids got seriously sick, and he was charged with outrage of public decency, among other crimes, like being the worst.
And many reports have turned out to be hoaxes or misunderstandings. Nonetheless, the legend persists, fueled by media coverage and word-of-mouth storytelling. As a result, many parents take precautions such as inspecting their children's candy or only accepting sealed, commercially packaged treats from trusted sources. Despite the rarity of the actual tampering, the legend of poisoned Halloween candy continues to serve as a reminder of the importance and safety of awareness during festive celebrations.
So my wife was eating some of the candy that we got last night trick-or-treating with our 2-year-old, and my wife noticed something weird in one of the candy bars. So we took a closer look, and somebody had put this.
And so a child finds an old video game cartridge that seems normal at first, but playing it leads to an eerie and supernatural occurrence. And this is the varying tale of the cursed video game cartridge. The legend of the cursed video game cartridge is a popular trope in horror storytelling. The story typically revolves around a child or teenager who discovers an old, seemingly innocuous video game cartridge. Initially, the game appears to be like any other, but as the player progresses, they encounter increasingly strange and unsettling phenomena within the game world. These eerie occurrences often blur the lines between fiction and reality, with elements of game bleeding into the player's actual surroundings. And some versions of this legend suggest that playing the game can have real-life consequences, such as causing illness, accidents, or even death. This legend capitalizes on the immersive nature of video games and the sense of escapism they provide, as well as the fear of the unknown and the supernatural. It taps into anxieties about technology and the potential for it to be haunted or cursed, Similar to this is the Berserk Evil Curse, video game urban legend that is a lesser-known tale that gained traction in certain circles during the late 1980s and early in the 1990s. According to the legend, there existed a cursed arcade game called Berserk Evil, or simply Evil, which supposedly caused a series of tragic incidents for those who played it. The legend goes that Berserk Evil was an arcade game similar to the original Berserk game released in 1980, known for its simple graphics and maze-like gameplay. However, the cursed version of the game allegedly featured disturbing and violent imagery, as well as an eerie sound effect that reportedly caused players to experience feelings of dread and unease. The legend further claims that players who dared play Berserk Evil were plagued by a series of misfortunes ranging from accidents and injuries to mysterious illnesses and even death. Some versions of the legend suggest that those who played the game became obsessed with it, spending countless hours in darkened arcades, their lives consumed by the cursed game. And the demon in the game was Evil Otto, a smiling face that bounced closer and closer to you. It bears similarities to other video game urban legends of the era, such as the Polybus legend, which also claimed that an arcade game had sinister effects on those who played it. Despite the lack of concrete evidence to support the existence of Berserk Evil, or its alleged curse, there were some coincidences of sad tragedies surrounding the game. However, they proved to be coincidences at best. All these arcade game myths are exactly that, just myths. They're purely fictional creations. They serve as cautionary tales or simply entertaining narratives.
Welcome with me. I am the Bishop of Battle, Master of all ice.
Who could forget the Green Lady? She's the spectral superstar haunting parks and lakes. A ghostly presence often featured in parks or near lakes, believed to be the spirit of a woman who died tragically and now wanders around looking for her lost child. The legend of the Green Lady is a haunting tale that has been passed down through generations, often associated with specific locations such as parks, lakes, or forests. The Green Lady is typically described as a ghostly icon, shrouded in ethereal green glow or wearing green clothing, who roams the area in search of her lost child. The story does vary in details depending on who you heard it from, but according to the legend, she was a woman who suffered a terrible loss, and in some versions her death is attributed to ending her own life, murder, or an accident. Over time, her spirit is said to have become trapped between the worlds of living and dead, condemned to wander the earth endlessly in her grief. Encounters with the Green Lady are often described as an eerie or unsettling presence, with witnesses reporting feelings of sadness, fear, or unease in her presence. Some versions of the legend suggest that she may appear to those who are in distress or facing their own personal tragedies, offering a warning message from beyond the grave. While the origins of the Green Lady legend are often unclear, and it may vary depending on the region or culture, the story endures as a poignant reminder of the power of grief and the endearing presence of spirits in the world, folklore, and myth. Whether she is seen as a harbinger of doom, a guardian of the lost, or simply a restless spirit seeking peace, the Green Lady continues to haunt the imaginations of those who hear her tale. Have you heard about the Grinning Man? He's like the Joker's distant cousin, popping up at night with a smile wider than Richard Simmons' workout routine. Reports of a tall icon with an unnaturally wide grin appearing at night often linked to UFO sightings or other unexplained phenomena. The legend of the Grinning Man is a mysterious and unsettling tale that has captivated the imaginations of paranormal enthusiasts for decades. Reports of the encounter with the Grinning Man describe him as tall, often described as wearing a shiny or metallic suit, with an unnaturally wide or eerie grin stretching across his face. Encounters with the Grinning Man typically occur in isolated or remote locations, particularly at night. Witnesses often report feelings of intense fear or unease. This legend is often linked to other unexplained phenomena such as UFO sightings, cryptid encounters, or paranormal activity. Some theories speculate that the Grinning Man may be an extraterrestrial being, a supernatural entity, or a manifestation of some otherworldly force. One of the most well-known encounters with the Grinning Man occurred in 1966 in New Jersey when two boys reported seeing a strange man with a wide grin lurking near their neighborhood. Similar sightings have been reported in other locations around the world, adding to the mystery and intrigue surrounding this eerie entity. Despite numerous reported sightings and encounters, the true nature of the Grinning Man remains shrouded in mystery. Some dismiss the legend as a product of an overactive imagination or misidentified natural phenomenon, while others believe it's evidence of something far more sinister and inexplicable. Regardless of its origins, the legend of the Grinning Man continues to fascinate and unsettle those who dare to explore the realms of the unknown and the unexplained. Alright, now we're getting serious. It's time to summon some courage and dive into the hair-raising tale of Bloody Mary. Forget about double dutching. Chanting her name 3 times in front of a mirror is the ultimate test of bravery in the 1980s. A widespread legend where chanting Bloody Mary 3 times in front of a mirror would summon a vengeful spirit. The details of what happens next vary, but it's always spooky and not just a drink your mom had on Friday nights. The legend of Bloody Mary is a classic and spine-chilling tale that has been passed down through generations. According to the legend, if you stand in front of a mirror in a darkened room and chant Bloody Mary 3 times, the spirit of a woman named Mary Worth, or some variation thereof, will appear in the mirror. And like I said, the details of what happens next vary depending on what version you heard. Some say that Bloody Mary will reveal herself as a disfigured or ghostly figure, while others claim she will scratch or attack those who summon her, and in some versions she is said to drag the person who summoned her into the mirror, into her realm, trapping them forever. And there's only one way to find out, so let's try it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to the bathroom, light a candle, turn out the lights, and we're gonna try Bloody Mary. Now, I'm officially using these instructions from WikiHow, so you know they're accurate, and then we'll see what happens, and if I don't come back, well, then I guess that's the end of this video. And here we go. It says say it 3 times. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is disappointing. Anyway, back to the video. The legend of Bloody Mary is often used as a test of courage or a rite of passage among young people who gather around in a darkened bathroom to summon her and see if the legend is true. It taps into primal fears of the unknown, the supernatural, and consequences of tempting fate. While the origins of Bloody Mary are unclear, whether it's a cautionary tale about dangers of dabbling in the occult or simply a spooky story to tell around the campfire, the legend of Bloody Mary continues to captivate and terrify those who dare summon her. This is similar to Candyman or Beetlejuice. Speaking of Candyman, can we pause for a moment and just appreciate Clive Barker? He is possibly the best horror storyteller there is. Whether it's his books or those that became movies, he is amazing. Okay, I know I derailed, so now let's talk about The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs is like Home Alone meets Scream. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs is a classic urban legend and has been told and retold in various forms for decades. The story revolves around a teenage babysitter who begins receiving threatening phone calls from a mysterious stranger while she's babysitting alone in the house. The caller often taunts the babysitter, telling her to check the children or warning her of imminent danger. As the calls continue, the babysitter becomes increasingly frightened, eventually contacting the police or the homeowner for help. In some versions of the legend, the police trace the call and inform the babysitter that the calls are coming from inside the house. In others, the babysitter discovers the truth herself when she investigates the source of the calls and finds the intruder hiding in the house, often with sinister intentions. The legend of the Babysitter and the Man Upstairs plays on fears of vulnerability, isolation, and the unknown. It highlights the dangers that can lurk in seemingly safe and familiar environments, as well as the importance of trusting one's instincts and taking precautions to ensure personal safety. While the story is likely rooted in a combination of real-life fears and cautionary tales, there have been instances where similar scenarios have occurred in real life, albeit with different outcomes. Nonetheless, the legend of the Babysitter and the Man Upstairs continues to endure as a chilling reminder of the dangers that can accompany the responsibilities of caregiving.
Signs of satanic behavior may be apparent, such as a sudden, bitterly antagonistic attitude towards family and religion, a drastic decline in academic performance, a reclusive behavior pattern, and listening exclusively to heavy metal rock music,
In the 1980s, there was the Satanic Panic. It was a widespread fear that satanic cults were performing rituals and sacrifices, especially targeting children. This panic led to numerous false accusations and moral hysteria. The panic was fueled by a combination of factors including sensationalized media coverage, religious fervor, and the spread of urban legends and conspiracy theories. During this time, there was no such thing as Snopes, so you couldn't just double-check something and you would hear something and take it to heart. There was reports of alleged satanic rituals, human sacrifices, or other heinous acts supposedly perpetrated by satanic cults. These reports often lacked substantial evidence and relied heavily on testimonies obtained through controversial methods, such as hypnosis or coercive interviewing techniques.
Thirsty? What's wrong? Something you might have heard about mixing Pop Rocks and soda?
Well, supposedly, your stomach and your intestines, everything first.
Really?
Now, Mikey from Life cereal, with the classic line,
"He likes it! Hey, Mikey!"
When you bring Life home, don't tell the kids it's one of those nutritional cereals you've been trying to get them to eat.
Had his own urban legend. This rumor that the child star who played Mikey in Life cereal commercials died from consuming Pop Rocks and soda, which supposedly caused his stomach to explode.
So do you remember Pop Rocks?
Yeah, they were invented in 1956.
This was entirely false. The rumor surrounding Mikey from Life cereal is a classic example of an urban legend that spread rapidly before the age of widespread internet fact-checking. In reality, the actor who played Mikey in the commercials, John Gilchrist, did not die from consuming Pop Rocks and soda, or from any other cause related to the candy. The rumor appears to have originated as a piece of playground gossip and quickly gained traction through word of mouth. The false rumor likely persisted due to the popularity of Life cereal commercials featuring Mikey and the morbid curiosity surrounding those of the beloved child actor. Despite the repeated attempts by the company and fact-checkers to debunk the rumor, it continued to circulate for many years. Later, Mikey was removed from the urban legend and it would just become that Pop Rocks and soda could cause your stomach to explode, which is also entirely false. And so there we have a blast from the past filled with spooky specters, hair-raising haunts, and enough 80s pop culture references to fill a DeLorean. Until next time, stay rad, stay safe, and remember, don't believe everything you hear, because it could be real, or it could just be an elaborate hoax.